Remember him, your grace.
Sir Arlen of Pennytree, attorney that I know. Ashamed himself either.
Yes, sir.
Grey Lion's true name, I have no doubt. We broke 4 lances before I finally unhorsed him.
7.
Your old master, but it was 4 lances only, I fear.
And that one day the 7 kingdoms would be safe in your hands.
What's good, people? We're here for another episode. Yeah, we're here to talk about Baelor Breakspear. Prince Baelor Breakspear. Oh, wow. What do we even say? You know, he's now introducing an heir to the 7 kingdoms. An heir to the 7 kingdom in the 2nd episode, you know. 3rd episode will be tonight. We can't wait to see that for sure. But, you know, from what we can see from Baelor Breakspear it's tremendous, you know, like his aura and presence really outshines in this episode. Baelor Breakspear is already known to be a prolific hand of the king, you know. He's known for his tremendous victory within the wedding tourney. He defeats the Daemon Blackfire, who was also through the Targaryen lineage. He defeats Daemon Blackfire and shows his talents, how extraordinary he is with his skill. Not only does he do that, but during the Blackfire Rebellion, Baelor, who as a prince could have just chilled, relaxed, not really being in the middle of the fight, he goes to the forefront all the way and quickly defeats Blackfire and his army, which could have been a huge bloodshed because different houses were putting their alliances on each side, whether that was the Targaryens or the Blackfires. So Daemon has already been known to be such a prolific figure already. So you can imagine he's looked up to. One thing that makes Daemon, so Baelor's known, you know, how much of a prolific knight hand king he is already. Baelor is known to have, as you can see, black hair, so he's not even looking like the Targaryens would remember the Targaryens to look like. You know, he's got the dark hair due to his mother, Myriah Martell. And, you know, already in the beginning, people weren't really too sure, like, oh man, this guy got dark hair. Like, he really in alliance to the Martells, to the Dornish folk. But what Baelor was able to do is Baelor was able to unite the Dorne with the Targaryens and defeat the Blackfires. You know, he ends up doing that, going further forward. But it's very interesting that you can see the differences now when it comes to Targaryens. Not all Targaryens needed white hair. Yes, that was dominated in genes and genetically. Of course, that's what it would be without, you know, the mixture of the Tyrells and those of Dorne. But that's one thing that, you know, Baelor had to really overcome. You know, he had to overcome the fact that he had dark hair and he didn't have the casual white hair like his brother Maekar. You know, so that's an interesting concept there as well. The thing that I really wanted to touch upon, which we can see here, is his humility. Which in the books they explain, but I think they do it so well. You know, he's so humble. He's so reasoning. He's so down to earth, and he shows that when he speaks with Ser Duncan. Even his aura when he meets the Lord of Ashton. You know, he's so kind. You know, he's like, I'm gracious that, you know, you brought us here. You know, he's even telling at times his brother Maekar's swearing, you know, and Baelor's like, don't swear, you gotta do that. He's always trying to show genuinity, sense of love and happiness and charity. You know, you can see all the way throughout that episode, he brings that positive energy. And it's so hard to get a character like that from any of these Westeros series, especially as a Targaryen. I don't think I know another Targaryen that is as more kind as he is. I can't think of one. You know, of course, you know, it's good that we have Egg, because Egg, Egg seems like he's almost looking up to that, looking up to what it is to be an honorable man. And of course, my statement as well. It seems as though we got him at Game of Thrones, and we know that how much he was a nice man. But it's really clear here with Baelor Breakspear. So what makes this thing so essential is that Ser Duncan really wants to be a good knight. He really, really wants to show how honourable Sir Arlen of Penetry was. And he wants to represent for him. And he goes throughout the whole of Ashton, and he can't find nobody, not a single person who wants to vouch for this guy. You can imagine how, how hopeful he was, motivated to go there and to say, look, this guy, Sir Arlen, he was loved by many, but it seems as though he wasn't popular when he went to Ashton. It seems as though when he goes there, when Ser Duncan goes there, it seems like nobody knows who he is. So we already get the looks that, oh no, it's going to be very difficult for him to even go for the tourney. And who does he meet? Somebody that's known to not only win tourneys, but someone that's known for righteousness. And that's, of course, Baelor. One thing that we can see is that, which is reference, is that Prince Baelor Breakspear doesn't forget. He always wants to make sure he remembers the nights, remembers so much, because his character is such one where he wants to take record of those that have been so tremendously good, tremendously generous. So, we can see that from Baelor. And when, of course, Duncan asks, look, this my Sir Arlen Penetry, I need someone to vouch for me that I actually do know him. He met the right person at the right time. Because it's one thing when you meet someone who is, gonna, as a knight, that's gonna say, yeah, I know him. But Hand of the King, that's the automatic. Like, he met, of everybody in Ashton right there, like, you could not find a better person to tell you, yeah, put him in the tourney. Baelor Breakspear? Oh, Baelor Breakspear said, yeah, you definitely know. So he asks, of course, Ser Duncan the Tall, like, oh, so you know about him defeating the Grey Lion. So what's the Grey Lion's name? And he just wanted to see who Ser Duncan was. And already, he could tell that, yeah, this was definitely Sir Arlen Penetry's squire. So it really shows how much Baelor really respects righteousness. Because he said one thing that was very important. He said, yeah, Sir Arlen's never won a tourney that you can remember, but he never shamed himself. And you know how key that was for him to bring that up. It showed how important he took integrity, honor, as a knight. For Baelor, yeah, it's one thing to win. Baelor somehow had the best of both worlds. Yes, he was skillful. Yes, he was respected by men. Yes, he was the heir to the throne. But he was also about honor and righteousness. And that was the humility in him. And also you see, other than the other laws are always trying to prove that, yeah, they're worthy. Maekar, you see, he don't even care, bro. Maekar doesn't even care what people are doing. He doesn't even care about other people in general. Baelor was just completely all the way empathetic. Like, it almost as though it feels so surreal, and so many people loved him for that, because it's very hard for people to want to show kindness, especially in a world where you see people take that for granted, take advantage of that. Baelor just was completely different. So different about it. So different in his ways. And one thing that he showed especially was clemency. He showed clemency a lot. He gave reverence to, always wanted to show mercy. He never believed in severe, unnecessary punishment where it wasn't due. He always gave respect to his enemies and his foes. Like he's a good knight when he's loving his foes. Like, bro, know the golden rule. Love love your neighbor like you love yourself. And I think that's what Baelor really showed. Such a renowned man, so he showed clemency even when, Ser Duncan the Tall misspoke about the tourney situation and said, it was 7 lances. And, Baelor had to just correct him with a gentle manner. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see, okay, what happens in the next episode. We've already seen how he is in this particular episode. What happens in the next episode going further? We kind of can predict, things will turn west, especially with, having to deal with Arryn, having this friction that he'll have with Ser Duncan. But it really makes me question what will happen, what kind of behavior will we get from Baelor Breakspear? Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be consistent? If you've read the books, you already know what is going to happen. So I don't want to say too many spoilers. But so far, you can see how generous of a knight he is. And I feel like so many people have watched this and adored this kind of particular character because we've missed this for so long. The actor was speaking about this as well, about how loving he was, how positive he was, and how we've not really got this, that sense of goodness. We need that in a world which is so evil in Westeros. And even in today's life, in today's world, we need people like that believe in generosity, that believe in humility, that believe in, in a world that we live right now where we see too many leaders that are all about greed and being, just being wicked. We need somebody like a Baelor Breakspear. So I think Baelor represents a lot, And one other thing, though, it also shows is that without even spoiling it too much, it's not easy being good. Good people get punished all the time. You see Ser Duncan the Tall, he's getting the disrespect he's received in this whole series, in season 1, has been ridiculous. He's taken a lot of abuse recently throughout this whole experience. But when you have people like Baelor Breakspear that are good people and in such good positions, it makes the difference in this world. Because nobody's gonna disrespect Baelor. He's the hand of the king, and he's shown his merit as well. He's one turn. He defeated the rebellious Blackfire. And the thing about it is that you can see it trickles down. He was rewarded hand of the king for that particular reason, as his father, Daeron, handing that. So it was a big thing. It's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. We can't wait to see what episode 3 has in store. Definitely we'll have the reaction video for that and a full breakdown as well. So definitely just watch out, and I'll definitely have some breakdowns for you also. So definitely make sure to like, comment, and share, and express your entity. Let's go.